96.5 KECO in Elk City, Oklahoma. It is time to talk. It's the early morning show. Nathan, Landry, and you. And it actually feels, again, it feels pretty good outside. It's about 73, 74 degrees or something like that. We're going to get this afternoon up to about 104. It's going to be hot again today and be hot again. You know, it's hot. It's just early August hot. So that's what we do. That's who we are. It's what we do. Forecast at the bottom. Jared's got local news at about 7:50. Did last spring's hailstorms batter your body, your auto body? When it comes to removing dents, nobody's better than Ezra. Ezra Coy, Barbara Dyson Ford's guy for getting the dents out. He finished up BD Ford's cars and trucks that, got hail a few months back. And now he's opening it up to the general public. So here's what you do. If your car, your truck, got some dents from the hail, drive it into the service bay at Barbara Dyson Ford, say, Ezra, I would like a free estimate, and that's exactly what he'll do. Barbara Dyson Ford, northeast part of Elk City. 225-9697 is the text line, 73, 74 degrees. Your forecast at the bottom. Jared with news, and in the meantime, a couple of large men with large ideas are in the room. Brian and Briley Backa from Clinton, Oklahoma, and parts unknown. Gentlemen, good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
It's always great to see you. And now, with the Gary Boulevard exit off I-40 update, it's Briley Backa.
It's just not there.
Not done yet.
It's not there. It's funny is we always forget. We have a lot of clients over here over at Elk City, and it never fails. They'll be about 5 to 8 minutes late to their appointment, and it's because the dang exit's not open, so they got to drive.
Oh, I forgot.
Past,
Now I got to go down to Neptune or whatever.
Yeah, so it's just kind of funny.
Or the highway,
But it's dirt.
It's sure going to be nice when it's done.
It will be
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, it's the price of progress.
Yeah.
A little pain right now, but it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of years in the making, so we're
I
happy
think-
that it's getting done.
I think it'll change the way Clinton functions. Really, their economy will be a lot better, definitely going forward.
Oh, yeah, the Chamber of Commerce mouth must be watering. Ready
Well,
to
I
get
think
that.
Rick Cook's building a facility right there across from McDonald's,
Yeah.
one of those ASAP stores. I think that's what's going on there now. So I know he bought that land and demolished that big hotel that was there. So
Are you talking about Candidate Cook?
Candidate
Is that
Cook.
part of the
That's right.
campaign?
Yeah.
who knows?
ASAP.
Pretty good timing, huh? Rick does a great job
Rick's a
in
good dude.
Oklahoma.
All right, what's on your mind?
Well,
What's percolating?
One thing that I wanted to talk about is really not anything about the markets, but it's more of a psychology of investing. We've talked about this before. A lot of things going on in the market today with the Iran stuff. This stuff in Iran is pretty easy to figure out. When the bombs start dropping,
The market goes down.
the market goes down. So they have a peace talks, market goes up. So eventually what I always talk about is short-term events. This is going to be a short-term event. Short-term is relative in everybody's mind. So what short-term means to one person is long to another. But eventually this will come to an end. Eventually the market will take off again and be on a long, steady pace upward. But it just happens all the time. Market goes up, market goes down, but it goes up 75 to 80% of the time. Those are pretty good odds when you talk about going to Vegas and gambling. I guess I don't do that, but
I lose every time.
I hear the odds are in the casino's favor by 0.5% or by 1%. 51 to 49 in favor of the casino, and that's all they need to build those big facilities. With the markets, it's even better odds in your favor if it goes up 75 to 80% of the time. If you have the longevity and you have the time to stay in the market and weather the storms, you're going to be just fine.
Okay, so why is there fear among some people about investing? Given the numbers you just gave, which 75, 80% of the time it goes up, why is there this fear among some about, it's risky, I don't want to do that?
I think a lot of it comes from, obviously like past trauma as well. You got to think, there's a lot of people that are, still around, still investing, or not investing that went through 2008. That was basically a 50% market correction on the S&P 500, and depending on how old you are or were at that time, really dictates how you perceive investing in the market. Go ahead.
Well, and it depends on how you responded in that situation,
I
too.
agree.
Because if you responded in a negative way and you said, I'm getting out of the market before I lose all my money, that's the wrong thing to do, because it was a very short-lived event. Eventually, usually within, I can't remember the exact time frame, it was several months, that we were back to break even, back above water, and your count went on to make new highs. So the people that stayed in the market were genuinely rewarded for staying in the market. Those people that bailed out created a permanent bad experience for them, and they lost money. So as long as you don't sell and panic, you're going to be fine. If you're in a well-diversified portfolio, I can honestly say that. But if you're in have single stock risk and you're in just a few stocks, you're not diversified, you potentially are setting yourself up for failure.
And I think the access to information definitely does not help anything nowadays. I mean, at our fingertips, there's always something bad happening in the world, which does not give people confidence of what's going on in the U.S. economy or the markets or anything like that.
Well, you can find anything you want on the internet. If you want to search bad stuff, you're going to find bad stuff. If you want to fill your mind with positive things, which goes back to another thing I was going to talk about with this book I'm rereading. I read this a few years back, and I think I've talked about it on the air. It's called Your Money or Your Life. By Vicki Robin, and it's a very good book. And the premise of the book, it talks about we only have so much life energy. Everybody in the world has only so much life energy. What do you do with that life energy? As long as you have access to it. So, I can ask you guys this, Landry. Let me ask you this: if you didn't have to work for a living, what would you be doing with your time?
That is a great question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I apologize. Go ahead.
Thank you. That is a great question. What would I be doing? I don't know.
If money was no object, if you didn't have to work, and I'm not saying money being no object as if you were a multimillionaire. I'm saying money is no object in relation to you just don't need that much. You have no debt. You have sufficient income to meet
Would
your
you stop
basic
working
needs.
today
No, I'd probably just keep doing what I'm doing now.
because you enjoy it?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great answer.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great answer. A lot of people aren't like that. We have a lot of people say, "Man, I hate my job. I want to quit. I want to find something else. I want to do something with my time. I just don't know what to do." But these are really good questions to make you think deeply. And I like how you paused because you were truly thinking. It made your mind go to a place that maybe it hasn't been before. And when you think about it, you think, "Man, it makes a lot of sense." But I will tell you, each person has to define their own personal, what we call the point of sufficiency. And the point of sufficiency means you've got enough money to pay your bills, you've got no debt, you've got no worries in the world except those you impose on yourself. And realistically, everybody has a different point of sufficiency. So we know many multimillionaires that die what I call emotionally penniless. They've got a lot of money, but emotionally, they're just never content. And then we've got a lot of people that we work with that are much more financially or material deficient, but they're great psychologically. They're having a great life.
The happiest people
In the world. So you really don't need, again, kind of funny coming from us, probably not what you expect, but you really don't need a lot of money to be happy. You truly don't.
Well, and that's the thing. Dad and I, it's good and bad and all in the same right. But unfortunately, we see a lot of people pass away with a lot of money, and they've been oversavers. And so that's something that we really started kind of honing in on for people is, as we're going through our planning process, something that we'll ask a lot of times, if you had 10 healthy years left, not that you had 10 years to live, but you've got 10 healthy years left in your life, would you give those to your employer, or would you, sacrifice the extra income and go do things that you've always talked about?
Oh, I think 98% of the people would say, take this job and shove it. I'm going to go do.
Yeah.
I agree with that to a point, but that's just not what we see. I mean, it really, a lot of people will keep working, and a lot of it is because people need something to do. I always, because there's a lot of people say, I'm going to retire from my job. All right, and that's very valid. Okay, you're going to retire from your job, but one thing, Dad always asks this is, okay, what are you going to retire to? You have to have a purpose. My father-in-law wouldn't mind me saying this about him. That's something that me and him have a conversation of, is what hobbies do you have? Whenever you do retire, what are you going to go do with your time? You can only mow your yard and work in your flower bed and golf so much. There's only so much of that to be had. You can only, out here in western Oklahoma, you're not going to go fish in the depths of January all the time.
Well, there's something to be said about keeping your mind active too, because there's different things that make up your life. One is your mind, your body, your spirit, and your financial life. Not necessarily in those orders. It depends on the person. But in my way of thinking, your spiritual life should be number one. That's the thing that's going to continue long after you're dead. Your mind, I think, is number two, because if you lose your mind, you lose everything else. your body, your physical body, you've got to exercise, you got to take care of yourself, or the other things don't work out either. And then if you don't have, at least enough income to cover your basic financial needs, that sends things south too. So those things in your life, you've got to balance those.
And Dad and I, we actually just recently lost a really good family friend of ours, and we were at a funeral last week out of state to go to it, and this person was in their 60s. Very successful, could do anything they wanted to in life. And money doesn't matter. It's all coming for us at some point. But with that that's something that we always try to talk to people about is experiences. All this money is great, but you saved for a reason, and it was to utilize it in retirement. And so we're kind of like mentors, or not mentors, but kind of life therapists, life coaches, whatever you want to call us.
Yeah.
And because you don't need permission to spend your money, but a lot of people do.
There's a lot to this. It really is. Just going back in time and looking at my life, I wish I would have saved more. I wish I would have probably had a lot of the knowledge I have now 20 years ago. But it doesn't happen like that.
No, it doesn't.
So, each chapter I was talking about this book, Your Money or Your Life. Every chapter in that book means something different, and I start thinking deeply about things and think, okay, well, each chapter in our life is say a decade. Every decade represents a certain point in our life, and as the decades pile up, we look back on previous decades, and we have the ability to learn from our mistakes and learn from what we did right in that decade, what we did wrong in that decade, and then we can fix it. So it's kind of like writing our own book of our life, that we can make changes along the way to fit our needs at that time.
Brian and Briley back at Advanced Financial Strategies in the room here on 96.5 KECO's The Early Morning Show. In your time, you've probably seen plenty of people who are happy in retirement. What does that look like? The people who are happy, what are they doing? What is their life like?
We talked to one yesterday. We had a call with a guy yesterday, a client out of Arizona, and they were about to leave Saturday, and I can't remember where they were going first, but they're getting on their Harleys.
They're going to Washington first.
Washington first. A man and woman in their upper 60s. They've each got a Harley, and I have actually ridden with them before. Really great folks, but they're one of the ones that's the epitome of really enjoying retirement. They're going to Alaska. And they said by the time they get back in 3 to 4 weeks, they're going to be ridden 5,000 miles. Is that right?
Yeah, they're going to load their motorcycles up on a ferry and take it to Alaska, ride around Alaska, and then come back. But that's the thing. The people that I think are the happiest in retirement are things that they have stuff to go do. They've got family that they're not afraid to go see. That type of stuff. I would say the people that because you may be surprised to hear this, but we do talk to people after they retire, and they're not happy. They don't seem to have anything to go do.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them for sure. But and I always tell this to men that are in our office is men struggle with it way more than women that I see, because a lot of men, their relationships are tied to their job.
Their identity.
Their friends are at their job, and so whenever they leave, it's like one day they're at work, the next day they're not, and they don't have any more friends, and because they don't see them as much. They don't.
I leave work. We don't have any more friends. I'm out.
And I know we're kind of laughing, but from what we see, a lot of times that is true. Women are very good with relationships. They've got they're sometimes closer with their kids. They're better at reaching out to people a lot of times and hanging out with people and having those relationships. So
church groups, quilting groups, playing bridge. I mean, there's all kinds of different.
So
things
women are better at group. They're better at having individual friends, but they're also better at being part of a group.
From what we see.
From what we see.
Yeah, but a couple things that I wanted to talk about as well that we have run into, I feel like way more than what we used to, is we recently, just to talk about a scenario specifically, is we've dealt with a family that has inherited some money. Well, the beneficiaries were not accurate on their accounts, and so all this money was left to one child. Unintentionally, well, it was intentionally left to the child, but they gave all this money to the child to distribute to the rest. Okay, which poses a couple problems. One of them is like an ethical and moral problem, is the fact that money is technically that one beneficiary's money at that point.
He's under no legal or any kind of obligation to pass it on to his brothers or sisters.
Right. And so that money is theirs legally. So if they want to pass it on, they're just being nice, in my opinion, because they don't have to. The other side of the coin is this person was left a large amount of IRA dollars. And so, yes, you left one child all the money, but you also left that one child all the tax liability as well, which then plays into the moral side of things. Well, I paid all the taxes on this money. Am I just going to give, my siblings all this tax-free money now since I've been strapped with the taxes?
Well, and the other thing, we're not sure about this yet, but I think that sibling that received the money is in a much higher tax bracket than the other siblings, which is problematic as well. It would have been better to leave it to the sibling with the lower tax bracket.
And so this is a conversation that we have with a lot of our clients, and I'm sure other advisors deal with this, but we'll have a family come in and they'll say, hey, our child Bob here is the most responsible, and so we're going to leave everything to Bob, and he's just going to distribute it to everybody. We say, okay, well, think about this for a little bit, because that's not the most, efficient tax-wise to your family. Because, we are worried about mom and dad, our clients, don't get me wrong, but we're also, our job is to try to keep as much money inside the whole family unit as possible down the road, because, we're planning for the future as well. But that's something that we've run into multiple times recently.
Because the average investor probably doesn't even think about that.
No, they don't.
No, absolutely not. And so that's the point. If you get hooked up with the wrong person, advisor, whoever you're dealing with, and they are not, maybe they don't really want to worry about that, or that's not something that they know, that can cause a tremendous amount of problems for your family down the road, tax-wise. And so that's something that we always try to talk to our clients about, is, what is this going to do to you tax-wise in the future? You're not going to care about it because you're going to be, gone at that point, but your kids are definitely going to worry about it. Go ahead, Dad.
I want to try something, and we've not done this before, but I think this would be kind of cool to do for those listening out there. And if you have a line or a text line or a Facebook line or whatever, we don't need to do this today, but I would like to review this next time we come in next month, and have people text in what's their best vacations they've ever been on, what's their bucket list, things they want to do, because we ask clients that in the office, how do you want to experience the next 10 years of your life, what do you want to check off your bucket list. But it would be really cool. We talk to clients about this, and we get ideas ourselves of things we want to do. I think, oh my gosh, that sounds cool, I didn't think about that. So I would be curious, since there's a lot of people listening out there, what's the best vacation you've ever been on? And it doesn't have to be an expensive vacation, just an experience. So because we share these with our clients, we say, okay, have you ever thought of this? I've heard going to New Zealand and seeing the Northern Lights. I mean, there's all kinds of things that people haven't thought of that they would like to do. So anyway,
and we've kind of rearranged our office just recently. We've added kind of like we call it like a wall of fame on our wall. Whenever you walk into our lobby, we've got a TV on there, and then we've got a whole bunch of pictures of different clients that have been to different places. And so we naturally we've got me and Dad fishing at some different places. I had a 6-foot bull shark eaten in half last year in Georgia.
Yeah,
we talked about that on here. Different people and different fishing trips. We had a client go to South America. Went peacock bass fishing.
Oh yeah.
We've got a picture there, and so people in Italy, that type of stuff. So it's kind of neat to see, but those pictures are there for a reason, and the reason is it does generate conversation, and this is stuff that you can do as well. We just need a plan for it.
Well, and the thing is, people reach retirement, and it's like they postpone it because they're scared to spend the money because they're afraid of losing it in the market. So if you have, different strategies we can do, there's some guaranteed income things we can do that, and we talk about this some other time, but, we can increase retirement pay, 20 to 40% of your income, and that actually changes behavior. It changes your retirement behavior and gives you the permission to spend more money in retirement by having something like that, knowing that you have the mindset that you're never going to run out of income.
We're coming up, Brian and Briley back at Advanced Financial Strategies here on KECO. Speaking of, big world events, you mentioned 2008 and the housing market, and, the housing crunch and what that did to the market overall.
Yep.
We're coming up on the 25th anniversary of 9/11, and I cannot remember. I think I probably know the answer to this, but I don't really remember. What effect did that have for the next week or month on financial markets?
Very short term, and they actually closed the markets. They shut down the markets for, I think, 3 to 5 days. I can't remember exactly. I did live through that as an advisor, and it was a really frustrating time. But I can remember the market hitting the circuit breakers, is what they call it. And they just stopped it from trading just to stop the free fall. But it's another thing. It's another event, and it was a very short-term event. And the people that panicked, and just like going back to the 30s when people panicked and jumping off buildings, and I mean, it's not funny, but it is a very psychologically devastating event.
And that's the thing too. And a lot of people don't know this, but there are things built into the U.S. stock market that Dad just mentioned. A lot of people don't know about. They're called circuit breakers, and there's different levels to them. And I can't remember them off the top of my head, but one actually was tripped in 2020 whenever the crash happened with COVID as well, and it did halt trading for a while. But I think there's 3 different levels, and it stops the market, stops all trading in the U.S. economy for a certain period of time. If it goes down a certain amount, then it just halts for the rest of the day. Go home, boys. We'll try again tomorrow.
Did we learn something from the Great Depression, from the stock market crash of '29?
I can't remember what you're really getting into my history on the stock market here, but I can't remember. It was either the Great Depression or maybe it was like Black Monday or something like that back in the 80s whenever there was a big crash. But that's whenever one of those events is what triggered the circuit breakers being invented essentially for it. But there's some safety nets in place as well. But that's the thing, and we have this conversation all the time. We have people that call in, maybe they've just sold some cattle or land or something like that, and they're wanting to invest some of their money from those funds because land's high right now and cattle's high, and so now's a good time to sell and diversify. We've got a lot of people doing that right now.
Take profits.
Yeah, and so the conversation we have, because a lot of farmers, they want to, I want to invest this for a year to 2 years and then get back into the game or something like that. Well, depending on your time frame, we may not advise you to, put the money in the market. You may be better off in a CD or like a high yield savings account or something like that if it's short term. Now, if it's 3 to 5 years down the road, I think it's a good idea to get in the market. We think long term the market's going to be fine. But we do have those have to have those conversations a lot. Depending on your time frame and your goal for the money, really dictates on recommendations.
Well, it makes sense. You got to have long-term thinking in this because all of these short-term events are going to be negatively impactful. Along the way. The Iran stuff, the subprime mortgage deal you talked about, the housing crisis, 2000. March of 2000 was one. 1986 was one. These are all short-term events. So you have to think about investing with a long-term mentality. Think of it in terms of decades.
Excellent advice. Brian and Briley back at Advanced Financial Strategies, the website retirewithbaca.com. I mean, not literally with them. You're not going to live with them.
I've got a whole bunch of bungalows out back.
They're going to help you. Have you thought about adding on to the back of the office? You're just south of Homeland. They could...
Easy groceries are right there.
We have a limited amount of openings right now.
Retirewithbaca.com. Brian and Briley back at Advanced Financial Strategies in Clinton. Gentlemen, great to see you.
Send in your bucket list ideas.
Bucket list. Vacation.
Thanks for having us.
225-9697, 29 minutes after the hour. It's KCO Radio.
Keep chugging that coffee. The Brewer Boys will be back with the early morning show in a couple of minutes.
People call it hay wrap, but the technical term is net wrap. Our net wrap is like the strongest in the industry. It has a 12-month UV stabilizer so it don't break down, and it holds your bells together longer and makes it more worth your money. The cheaper stuff only lasts, I feel, if you wrap it, probably a couple months, and it's going to start breaking down when you try to move your bells. This one lasts a good over a year. Holds it tight. They want to keep their hay good, so it's good for their cows and horses not getting moldy and breaking apart when they're trying to move it and lose half of it down the road. There's like handles that's made on the roll because they're long and they're pretty heavy, but this makes it where you can pick it up and put it in there. It's not so bulky and you have to manhandle it so bad. It's the green and yellow brand colors, and everybody likes that color just because it holds up better and is stronger, and I've had a lot of good feedback from it. People can come get this hay wrap at Camrock Supply. 2111 South Main in Elk City. We're right south of Fred's.
Dehydration, injuries, viruses, sunburns. Summer can throw a lot at you. At Express Wellness Urgent Care, we're ready for it. We provide quality, affordable care 7 days a week, where walk-ins are always welcome and most major insurances are accepted. Stop by and see us right here in Elk City, or find more of our clinics all across Oklahoma. Don't let bad health ruin a great summer. Find your nearest clinic at expresswellnessurgentcare.com. That's the letter expresswellnessurgentcare.com.
Cotton producers, is your cotton already locked into the co-op pool this year? What if you could stay in the pool without having to gin through the co-op? Here's the good news. PCCA now allows independent gins like Carson County Gin to place your cotton into the pool you've already signed up for. That means you keep your pool marketing benefits while gaining the flexibility of an independent gin, family-style service, strong communication, and historically higher seed prices at independent gins in Texas. You'll still benefit from risk mitigation, professional expertise, and improved cash flow. This just lets you focus on farming while experts manage price volatility. But now you'll get to enjoy what independence brings. Constant communication from faces and voices you recognize, and historically higher seed prices. Same pool, different path, more options for your operation. Carson County Gin, 17 miles west of Pampa. Built around producers, tradition, and family.
I'm a dental nerd because I love dentistry. I love what I get to do. I love learning anything more that I can to help serve my patients. And also it helps fulfill me because I enjoy what I'm doing. I love what I do. My favorite part is the chairside interactions with patients and my team. I have an opportunity to do a few artistic things. I love the cosmetic aspects of dentistry. Part of it because I've had other people make me feel like I'm good at it. And who doesn't want to feel good about something if somebody tells you that you're good at it?
I'm Dr. Jamie Cameron, Southwest Dentistry and Cosmetics in Weatherford, catty corner to Walgreens. swdentalok.com.
Southwest Dentistry and Cosmetics, where we treat you like family and do life-changing dentistry.
96.5 KECO's The Early Morning Show, 7:33. It is finally Tuesday. Nathan and Landry and Brian and Briley and you can text us at 225-9697. What is your bucket list? What trip have you taken? What was your favorite vacation? Where did you go? Was it on a beach? Was it in the mountains? Was it in New England? Was it in Canada, Alaska? I know some folks who recently took an Alaskan cruise and they said they loved it. Or was it overseas? Was it in Europe? Did you go to England? Did you go to Italy? Ooh, did you go to Ireland or Scotland? I know a sheriff who recently went to Scotland. What is the best trip you've taken? What is the thing you've gone to do? Did you go to Pamplona and run with the bulls? Did you go to Yellowstone and see Old Faithful? What about Rushmore? What about the Grand Canyon? 2 years ago, we drove to California, okay? From Elk City, Oklahoma to California. And I had people ask, are you going to stop off and see the Grand Canyon? And the problem with in theory, it sounds good, but when you're talking about 2 days worth of driving, 10 hours a day, at that point, you're driving so long and so far, you really don't want to take an excursion that will take you, it's 75 or 100 miles north, and then you got to come back the other 75 or 100 miles south to get back on I-40. You don't want to you just want to get where you're going. And so we did not take the detour and see the Grand Canyon. Is it worth it? I've heard some people say, yeah, it's great. And I've heard other people say, okay, it's cool for 5 minutes, and then you're just staring at a big hole. Was the Grand Canyon your big trip? Was that the one? Was it Rushmore? I could see Rushmore would be, again, I'm afraid Rushmore would be sort of like the Grand Canyon. I think cool for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you're just staring at people's faces. I mean, I've never been to the Grand Canyon, Landry, but I have a feeling that it would be cool for about 10 minutes, and then you're looking at a big hole.
Yeah, well, of course, the thing with the Grand Canyon, you can get down into it. You can walk into it. You have to be careful. With Mount Rushmore, I don't think they let you get. Can you get that close? And
I don't know.
If you get close, you can't really see it.
That's cool.
It's so big.
Wow, look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, faces.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, let's go have a sandwich.
I'm done.
What's next?
Let's drive the other day and a half home now. What is your favorite vacation ever? 225-9697. What's the place that Brian and Briley can tell their clients, hey, you should go here? You should do that. That's really cool. 225-9697. Text us your best vacation ever. 225-9697. Landry, we have one that came in. The best trip we took was Hawaii. Hawaii. 7:36. I'm Nathan. That's Landry.
Briley Bacca is an investment advisor representative of and advisory services offered through Royal Fund Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
One of my earliest memories was waking up to a box of donuts on the kitchen table. By the time I woke up, Dad had already been at work for hours. He'd come home just long enough to leave breakfast for me, take me to school, and then head right back to the office. Back then, I thought it was all about the donuts. Looking back, I realized it never really was. Dad wasn't just building a business, he was building a reputation. One handshake, one family, one relationship at a time. If you're looking for experienced retirement guidance from a family that spent more than 3 decades earning the trust of people we serve, we'd love the opportunity to earn yours. I'm Briley Bacca with Advanced Financial Strategies. Now the donuts are long gone, but the work ethic that put them on the table is still the foundation of everything that we do. Call us today, 323-6800, or visit our website, retirewithbacca.com.
America's favorite pickup just got a little sweeter. Ford Motor Company is offering 2.9% interest for 72 months and 2.9% interest for 84, plus $1,000 customer cash on all F-150s. If your old one got too old, it's time to trade in and trade up. If you've only driven the others, come see why so many only go F-Series. And then let us take care of you like we see you at the family reunion. We call it the Barbara Dyson difference. Summer savings continue at Barbara Dyson Ford in Elk City. Online, BarbaraDysonFord.net.
There's this word we throw around a lot. Urgent. Urgent emails, urgent meetings, urgent everything. But when it comes to your health, urgent means something bigger, like not having to wait days or weeks for a doctor's appointment when you need care now. At Express Wellness Urgent Care, same-day scheduling is easy and walk-ins are always welcome. We're open 7 days a week right here in Elk City or at other clinics all across Oklahoma. And yes, we accept your insurance. So the next time you're sick or injured, head to Express Wellness Urgent Care.
There are times you're sitting here and you can't help but cry. It's hard. A lot of the families that, they've been married for 75 years and one of the spouses has passed away. That's unimaginable to me, what that would be like. But you listen. I mean, I'm interested. I like hearing how they met and what they did on their last anniversary or, how many kids they have and stuff like that. I think that's cool. I like hearing that. Most of the people that come in here, when they start talking about that person, they start telling stories. And once they start telling stories, the mood lightens, and then they start laughing. Our receptionist in here is always amazed at the number of times people come in and they're kind of standoffish. And before they leave, they're laughing and cutting up and being themselves. I think that's a key. Willis Granite Products. Our website is willisgranite.com.
Carter Electric in Elk City provides professional electrical services for residential, commercial, agricultural, and oil and gas applications, complete with overhead bucket truck capability for above-ground work, meaning they can service both overhead and underground transformers and installations. Since 1950, Carter Electric has served this area, and they continue to do so with dedication to quality and unsurpassed service. For your next electrical job or for an estimate, call Carter Electric in Elk City, 225-2447, or visit them at 217 West 12th Street in Elk City, with 24-hour emergency service available.
$7:39. It is finally Tuesday, 96.5 KECO is the early morning show. Nathan Landry and you. Let's take a look at your weather. Sunny and hot, 104. South winds 10 to 20. Tonight, clear, 74. Tomorrow, sunny and hot, 103. Today, 104, tomorrow, 103. Right now on the back porch, about 74 degrees. Skies mostly clear, winds mostly light, and the conditions, the air is mostly dry.
That is the funniest thing I've read all morning. Chopper Dave has weighed in.
Oh, my goodness, I forgot about those beds. Haven't we stayed in hotels where you get the massage bed?
I don't remember.
God, seems like we have. Chopper Dave claims. Now, he's just claiming this. My dad taking us to West Memphis, Arkansas, and staying in an hourly rate motel. He even let us put a quarter in the bed. What an experience! I swear I remember those. You could put quarters in it was like a massage bed. You lay there and it will massage you. You put a quarter in and it vibrates for 5 minutes or something.
West Memphis, Arkansas. Memphis is one of those cities that's in 2 different states.
Yeah.
Like, say, Kansas City.
Yeah. Texarkana.
As a kid, I remember my mind being blown St. Louis? Wasn't St. Louis in Missouri and Illinois? Did I dream that?
I don't know.
Is it possible there's an East St. Louis and West St. Louis? I remember as a kid learning about a city or cities that were in 2 states, and I thought, is this possible? How can this be? Is that legal? And I forget Memphis is one of those. West Memphis is in Arkansas, and the rest of Memphis is in Tennessee.
I'm asking Google, and it's not letting me ask. That's weird. I'm asking, is St. Louis in 2 states? And it's not, is St. Louis in Missouri or Illinois? Okay, here we go. Well, it's not going. What's wrong with the internet?
I don't know, but that reminds me of the story I saw yesterday about large Ariana. You know, Ariana Grande.
Mm-hmm.
She plans to withdraw from the public eye for a break from the, quote, endless, ongoing public scrutiny that she faces. A representative for Grande said.
Yeah.
So she's taking a break from the public eye amid recent scrutiny. Do you have any idea what that means?
Yeah, in the last year or so, some of it may have to do with relationships, but also just her physical appearance.
Her size?
She's never been big.
Yeah.
In fact, oddly enough, her name's Ariana Grande, which is
ironic.
Spanish for large. She's never been a large person.
See, I called her Ariana, large Ariana. She's not large, but Grande means large or big.
But in the when the movie Wicked came out a year ago or something, of course, she's doing all the media, right? She's doing all the tours and getting on TV and talking about the movie. And she's faced a lot of scrutiny for her body because her physical appearance has changed quite a bit. And I think there may have also been some relationships involved in all this media scrutiny. But why did you obviously have thoughts about it, though.
Well, no, it just popped up. I see people like her. People like her music, and they like her acting, and they like Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sympathetic on the one hand. On the one hand, I am sympathetic. I can't imagine what it would be like to be one of these superstars who you can't go out in public and you are scrutinized all the time. However, on the other hand, don't you know going into it, this is what the life is like? I mean, really, isn't this what you're asking for? When you become an actor, when you become a singer, you want to make it big. You want to be famous. And this is the life that a famous person lives. Now, I understand, until you live through it, you don't really know what it's like, probably. To be unable to leave your house in daylight and go out in public like Victor Hartenstein, Isaiah Hartenstein. See, last week I was in Edmond, Oklahoma, and we went to a Target, and I was told this was the Isaiah Hartenstein Target. And I thought, well, this is pretty special. Maybe we'll see him. But not everybody can go out in public. And you're going to be scrutinized.
I would think that, well...
And so I'm going to take some time off of what? Posting on social media or going out in public? Because people are still going to write about her.
No, she was doing a musical tour. And then she's also backed out of being in a play in London on the West End.
Oh.
That's a big deal.
Oh.
So she's stepping away. I think that life would be awful.
Oh, that would be misery.
I think pick the singer. I think being Gretchen Wilson. Why did I say Gretchen? Ella Langley. I think being Ella Langley would be awful.
Well, you watch the Michael Jackson movie, and the family lives in this compound behind a gate and a wall, and there are fans out there all the time just waiting for a glimpse of Michael leaving in the station wagon. You have to live in a compound guarded by security. That would be very unpleasant.
And then just this constant, with social media, I don't know what the end of this is, but there's just this constant barrage of people talking about you as though you never see it. Look, it's one thing for two people to have a private conversation because that's where it stops. Or even if they tell other, but when you're talking about social media and I talk about you to other people, I'm talking about you as though you'll never see it, but the world sees it. Everybody sees it. And people speak about Ariana Grande's appearance. Okay, she looks this, she looks that. They're scrutinizing every single thing about it. And relationships. You ask for it, Mm-hmm. When you become famous, you ask for this. You ask for the scrutiny. I mean, and think about this. Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, these people lived before the internet. I mean, before social media and before this it was bad enough for them. That was terrible. Couldn't go out in public. Had to rent out amusement parks and have security clearance just so you could ride rides like normal people.
That's what, to me, it's always funny and surprising and funny when you hear about these famous people going out in public. They just go out shopping. And they go to Walmart, they go to Target.
It's no wonder they lose their minds.
Yeah. It's an altered reality. We're not meant to live like that.
So they're both adored and hated, and they have to hide from everybody.
So actually, I do feel sorry. Even though these people are asking for it, it's still so unpleasant. They can't really know what it's like.
14 minutes away from the top, 96.5 KECO's The Early Morning Show last night was a gubernatorial Republican primary runoff debate. Let's put a few more words to it. A debate between Mike Mazzei and Gentner Drummond. Both of them want to be the Republican nominee to be governor for Oklahoma. Kevin Stitt has been the governor for the last 19 years now.
Or by the time you reach the end of 2 terms in office, any office, it seems like you've been in office forever.
I said last night to my family, and I'm going to say it again. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I think for governor and president, the second term, if you're reelected, 2 years. By the end of everybody's second administration, even supporters are tired of them. Look, I voted for George W. Bush twice, in 2000 and in 2004. And I'm here to tell you, by 2006, 2007, midway through the second term, I thought, okay, I'm ready to move on. I just was. And I voted for him twice. And I was ready to, because it's just, Mary Fallon for governor of Oklahoma. I voted for her twice. And let me tell you, by about year 6, I thought, okay, who's next? And Stitt, it's not like Stitt's done anything wrong or like terrible. It's not. It's just, man, 8 years is a long time for one person to have that kind of power, to be the focus, the central focus of a government. And so I just...
Is it possible he's worth $20 million? Can that be accurate?
Oh, Stitt?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I suppose it's possible.
I think I read that somewhere.
I mean, Landry, if he's been wise with his investments...
He needs to talk to the Backus.
I know.
About, when he's ready to retire, deciding what's on your bucket list. If you've been the president or the governor, what can be left?
Was he hoping
on the bucket
to stay in office long enough to get his Social Security?
There are 3 people I really feel sorry for. Ariana Grande, Kevin Stitt, and the mailman. And I'll tell you why, Nathan, because yesterday at 3:28 p.m., when my mail was delivered, it was 101 degrees. And that mailman sat in that truck outside my house, getting that mail ready, those packages, to take them next door and then to come to my mailbox.
Yeah.
Where did it go? At 3:28 yesterday afternoon, Nathan, it was 101 degrees. And the door was open on the mail truck. I don't know that they have any air conditioning. He was predictably moist in the armpit area. I saw the moisture on his shirt underneath both arms. It was
under my arm.
It was 101, Nathan.
Me happy.
Probably riding around in an air conditioning less
sunshine
vehicle.
Almost always
3:28
makes me smile.
See, and then I took this screenshot of my weather app
That's
at 3:28.
Amazing. That is amazing, Landry.
101, and my poor mailman. And this guy, I don't know if I'm on a route where they train new people or people like to quit, but I've had about 3 different mailman women and men.
Mailman person.
See,
a mailman person.
Most of the time, my letter carrier is female, and so I'll refer to her as the mailman woman.
And isn't it more fun to say everything in a Bill Clinton voice?
It absolutely is.
My mail woman, my mail route carrier person that delivered the mail to me, and it was so hot yesterday.
3:28 p.m., 101. There was so much sweat rolling down that old boy's arms.
I said, I'm just going to get up, make a talk, and get out of town.
It's like he had sprung a lake under his armpits. I hope he hydrates.
All right, back to last night's debate. We've had 2 people chime in. One person says That was a hard debate to watch last night.
It was.
Mr. Mazie was awful. He acted like a petulant child at times. Gintner wasn't all that great either. And then another listener says, that debate was awful. Talk about disgraceful.
Yeah, I was. One of the things that stood out to me is how both men seem to struggle to speak.
Mm-hmm. I am this close, Landry. Thumb and forefinger about a quarter of an inch apart. I'm this close to saying no more debates because they just don't do anything.
Well, Mike Mazie was in the state Senate for X number of years, right? I don't know if he's had any other elective office. And Gintner Drummond has been our attorney general, which in Oklahoma, you have to be elected. At the national level, you're appointed. At the state level here in Oklahoma, you're elected. And he's been the attorney general for 3.5 years. And so he had to run for office, which means I suppose he had to give speeches. And in office, I presume you give a lot of speeches. And Mike Mazie had to run for office and give speeches. And yet both men, not great public speakers. I mean, they really struggled.
Yeah. Well, they got better the later it went. So obviously early on they're nervous, right? They're very nervous. And the stakes are high.
The stakes are high.
And see, here's the problem. They're trying to score points instead of making the best case for themselves. Genuinely, look, here's what debates are not. They are not an in-depth, thorough explanation of issues and plans. They are name-calling, accusations, gotcha, and repeating your own boilerplate.
I don't remember seeing at least a gubernatorial debate that was that bad, though.
Yeah,
before last night.
It was really
bad. They spent a lot of time going at each other. I think one was guiltier than the other of doing that.
They both accused each other of lying repeatedly,
talking over each other. At one point, I was wishing for a mic mute, and they threatened it. The moderators threatened to mute their microphones.
But the people in the control room can do that. I
realize you don't want to alienate. One of those guys is probably going to be the next governor.
Probably.
And so you don't want to alienate the next governor of Oklahoma. But I mean that was not good. I mean, it was not good television. The talking over each other.
No.
And as an informational broadcast, it was more heat than light. Just a lot of noise. It was just a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Now I did like and it was in Tulsa, and it was one gal from Channel 9, Amanda Taylor, is that her name? And then one guy, I presume from Channel 6 in Tulsa, because I didn't know who he was. I like him. He sounds like he's from Western Oklahoma. He sounds country. I like that. And he threatened. He said, "Listen, you've done that 5 times. We're gonna." He put the hammer down a time or two. I appreciate that. Took control.
It's become fashionable to not just debate your opponent on stage, but to debate the moderator. For some reason, we've got to create this contentious
adversarial relationship in the room. Everybody.
No.
And listen, I don't care who has endorsed you. I really don't.
Oh, I don't either.
I don't care.
And it's meaningless to me.
What is your plan to, help the state get better, to govern? I don't care who the president is, and I don't care who's endorsed you. What about in the state of Oklahoma? What are you going to do as governor? And by the way, I also know that the governor doesn't make laws in Oklahoma. A governor can't make law. He can ask the legislature to pass laws that he will sign into law. But governors, it's like a president. Everybody thinks the governor in Oklahoma is omnipotent.
Yeah,
No, they're not all powerful. Huh.
All right, this is from the text line. Here's what a listener said. It was like two siblings. Wait a minute. This hits home. It was like two siblings fighting and arguing. You're lying. No, you're lying. Just get over yourselves. The fact that, and this came up, this is a question last night, 190,000 people voted for other candidates. Charles McCall, Chip Keating, and who's the other one?
Juanita Munson.
I've lost it.
The McCall,
Keating,
McCall, and who's the other guy?
Oh my goodness, I've lost it. Who's the fifth?
Charles McCall, Chip Keating.
Anyway, 190,000 people voted for those other three, and the question was, what are you going to do to win over? But one of our listeners texted in, the fact that 190,000 people voted for someone else besides those two says a lot about them. That's
Charles
from the
McCall,
text line.
Chip Keating. It was a Merrick. There was a Merrick, but he wasn't the bald guy, the religious guy.
Oh, who was it?
Wasn't he?
Doggone
What?
it.
Hey, is Google shutting us down? They're not letting us search for things.
I know. That's weird.
What did we do to Google?
They hate our show.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, then there's a lot of people that agree with them.
Well, it's probably a vast, moderate conspiracy. Moderate.
Good morning, partly sunny and 75. This is the Paragon Morning News. I'm Jared Atha. A crash involving two semi-trucks shut down the westbound lanes of Interstate 40 for about an hour and a half early Monday morning near Elk City after the trucks became tangled in the highway's cable barrier system. Beckham County Sheriff Derek Manning said the trucks dragged the cable barrier across both westbound lanes near mile marker 38, forcing authorities to close the interstate while crews removed the damaged barrier.
I was very impressed with their response time for being in the middle of the night. They got out there within, I'm going to say, about 25 minutes.
The Oklahoma Highway Patrol assisted with traffic control while ODOT crews cut away the cable barrier. No secondary crashes were reported, and the interstate reopened after crews cleared the scene. The deadline to request an absentee ballot for Oklahoma's August 25th runoff primary election is next Monday, August 10th at 5 p.m. Applications are available online at ok.gov/elections or through your county election board. Early voting will be held August 20th and 21st from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and August 22nd from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at your local county election board office. Election day is Tuesday, August 25th. Voters must cast their ballot at their regular polling place and bring a valid photo ID or approved proof of identity. For more information, you can visit elections.ok.gov or contact your local county election board. Southwestern Oklahoma State University has announced its Dr. John M. and Shirley Huser Scholars for the upcoming academic year. Jake Estes of Commute and Landry Freeman of Marlow were selected for the honor. Both are seniors majoring in biological sciences. The Huser Scholarship was established by the late Dr. John Huser and his wife Shirley Stewart Huser to support SWAZU students pursuing careers in the medical field. The scholarship is administered by the SWAZU Foundation, which promotes philanthropy and provides scholarships and financial support for university programs. More information is available through the SWAZU Foundation. In state news, a fatal crash in Tulsa. Oklahoma News Network's Rex Oates has that.
OHP continues to investigate a fatal accident that happened on a Tulsa freeway. Happened just before 2 Saturday morning at the Highway 75 I-244 interchange. They say an unidentified 18-year-old driver ran into a pillar, struck another bridge, and fell 30 feet to the ground. The driver was not wearing a seatbelt. I'm Rex Oates.
These stories and more on our Facebook page and website. Partly sunny, 75 right now. This has been the Paragon Morning News. I'm Jared Atha.